Katleho, why are you not applying to go to Russia? The way we study here is different.
Did you get used to the Russian climate?
That is not true.
Of course.
Maya. The class that I enjoy most is the Russian class. A little bit chut-chut Russian.
That causes a lot of stereotypes.
That was the most surprising thing to me.
Hello, my dear friends, and welcome to the new episode of the podcast Friendship Without Limits, a new project about the life of young foreigners in Russia. And I will remind you that we are filming at the National Research Nuclear University, MEPhI, which is the backbone university of the Rosatom State Corporation. Why we are filming there? Because there is more than 1,000 students from all over the world studying there every year. So we decided to find out why they choose Russia for studies and how do they live there. And I also want to remind you that this project is being implemented with the support of the Rosatom State Corporation as the part of the development program until 2030. Today our guest is Katleho, a student from South Africa. Hi, and we are very pleased to see you there.
Hello, thank you very much for having me on your show. I really appreciate the invitation.
I'm really happy to hear that. So the first question that we ask every foreign student is, how did you know about Russia and how did you decide to go to Russia for studying, and why is MEPhI in particular?
Well, this is a very long story, but I'll try my best to keep it as short as possible. Back in South Africa, Russia is quite popular because of the strong relationships that South Africa and the Russian Federation have.
Really?
Yes. And so when the opportunity came, because when it came, there was different other countries to say, choose a country. But because I understood the strong relationship between our countries and the love that our people have for the Russian Federation, I also have that love for the Russian Federation. I decided to choose Russia. Secondly, coming to MEPhI in particular, I wanted to study nuclear physics and thermodynamics.
Oh, I see.
And the particular reason for me to pick this major was because in our country currently, we have a major problem in our energy sector. And as a young person, as a youth in my country, I want to be the person that becomes the part of the solution to this problem.
Oh, that's great.
So I did my research. I looked up in the internet to see which university is best for me when I come to the Russian Federation. And that is when I decided that with all the history that I've read about MEPhI, definitely I'm coming to the Russian Federation to study in MEPhI.
A great choice, I think.
Yes, definitely.
So I can guess that if South African people like Russia so much, your family were happy that you are going there.
Definitely. Even when the opportunity came, apparently, this is the situation. I was busy with the application, and when I was busy with the application, my mother called me to ask me, Katleho, why are you not applying to go to Russia? And I'm like, I'm literally now in process with my application to go to study in the Russian Federation. So my family has been very supportive with the process of my application until I got to the Russian Federation.
That's very nice to hear, because family support is really quite important, especially when you go to live in another country, no matter for studying or for work or for something. So, talking about your compatriots, what do South African people mostly think about Russian people? Maybe there are some stereotypes that you think are not true when you came here for studying and see how the situation is.
Yes, definitely there are stereotypes, which is a bad thing, I think, in my opinion. And the first stereotype it was that Russian people are always angry. But I've been here for like 6 months already. And to tell you the truth, that is not true. The first time I came into the university, I was welcomed with warm hands, you understand? You know, if there's a stereotype there, you expect that, oh my God, they said these people are angry. So I'm probably gonna be mistreated in a way. But since I've been here, since I've been in the university, all I've been receiving truly is love from the Russian people, especially the youth. The youth are active, and the stereotype definitely is not true about Russian people.
That's really great, and I'm really happy to hear that, because I think that stereotype is quite common.
Quite common.
Among all the countries,
all
maybe.
the countries, yeah, definitely.
You said that you are living in Russia for 6 months now, and how do you think, is the student life in Russia is really different from a student life in South Africa?
Yeah, definitely. I have been a student in South Africa, and I'm now a student in the Russian Federation. And the difference is definitely noticeable. In terms of definitely academics, the way we study here is different from the way we study back in South Africa.
I see.
For example, one thing that I love about studying here, in one class you'll have maybe maximum a lecturer having 20 students to teach, whereby back in South Africa, if you are in a university and there is a lecture, there will be like, I think, more than 120 students, you understand? And the lecturer really cannot have a connection with every student to understand the problem of each student. But when I came here to the Russian Federation and noticed that in my class specifically, there is only 9 of us. Yes, and our teachers, they are so close to us to understand where our struggles are and are able to address those struggles with us. And we get very, very better. So in terms of academics, that is the difference that I've noticed. That is the biggest difference that I've noticed.
And what about life except the studies?
Except the studies. Well, I don't want to lie. Everybody knows this. Back in South Africa, students specifically, they love music. They love music, they love to dance. South Africans love to dance. I think 90% of all students, maybe in South Africa, they know how to dance.
That's great.
Because, yeah, it's crazy. It really is, because we listen to our music the same way you listen to Russian music. We have also a special genre that we listen to. And probably I think every music that comes out in these days, it has its special dance, you understand? And now we have social media like TikTok, Instagram, so we have literally everybody dancing to music. So I think in most cases, students back in South Africa, they're having fun dancing and listening to music.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
And speaking about you personally, how quickly did you get used to the Russian climate?
The climate in Russia, I can't 100% say I'm used to it, especially in Moscow, because it changes very drastically.
Yeah, really.
You can wake up in the morning, it's snowing, and then in the afternoon it's sunshine, it's hot. So I haven't gotten really to understand it, but to be surprised daily by it, I'm amazed. I mean, there is snow. Snow, we have snow in South Africa, but it's not as much as in Russia. So to see so much snow, it was really surprising for me, and it was joyful. Even though there, me and my friends, were falling somewhere there and there. So yeah, the Russian climate, I think I love it. I love it, and I can't wait.
That's quite surprising.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how the summer is.
Oh, summer in Moscow is really perfect.
It's really perfect.
Yeah, that's my personal opinion, because
Okay.
I really love late spring and summer there. It's so, so beautiful. There are a lot of blooming trees, there are a lot of flowers, and Moscow is really beautiful this time.
Beautiful.
Yes.
In summer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. That time is still coming.
By the way, did you have the opportunity to visit other cities or towns in Russia?
At this moment, ever since I arrived, I've only been in Moscow. And the university has been keeping me so busy. And I love that it's keeping me so busy. But I already have plans for summer. I'm planning to go see other towns, other bigger cities, and specifically the ones that I'm looking at. It's the first one is Kazan.
Oh yeah, I adore this town.
Also, I know we have another MEPhI in Obninsk, right?
Yeah.
I'm also planning to visit Obninsk in summer.
I'm sure that you will like Kazan because it connects Christian and Muslim culture, and it's really interesting to see it. And speaking about your country, I think that one of the most surprising facts for Russian people that they can see penguins there. So what do you think is the most surprising fact about Russia for you?
Well, ever since I've been in Russia, personally, I like Instagram. I always watch Instagram, watch how people are living in the Russian Federation, what the youth are doing. And the most surprising thing that I saw was that here in Russia, there's people who can have bears. You know what is a bear? Bear as their pets. A bear. Yeah, I was very surprised that there's actually people who can have them as their pets. That was the most
Sometimes
surprising.
it happens, really.
Yeah, that was the most surprising thing to me.
Yeah, and that causes a lot of stereotypes also.
Stereotypes, yeah, definitely.
And going back to South Africa, why South African people call themselves as a rainbow nation? Rainbow Nation. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Well, one of the things that we actually grew up knowing is that South Africa has been in very difficult times during the apartheid regime. But after this, when our great leader, Nelson Mandela, freed us and all his supporters, one of the things that was declared is that all people in South Africa would live equally, no matter your race, no matter the color of your skin, no matter your gender, no matter your beliefs. It doesn't matter where you come from around South Africa. Everybody deserves to have the same rights. And quite very important, one thing you would realize is that South Africa is actually having its national elections this year in May. And one of the things that I think represent this is that this year there was over, I think, 300 political parties registered. So, and these political parties were coming from different religions, different cultures. This can just show you how in South Africa is able to accommodate individuality. You understand? We understand that people are different and we accommodate all differences of all people.
Yeah, that's really
That is why
thing.
we say South Africa is a rainbow nation.
I see now. I also know an interesting fact about South Africa, that your country have 3 capitals. How come?
This also comes where I say on the 3 capital cities part. South Africa has 3 capital cities. The first one is Cape Town. I know a lot of people, when you speak about South Africa, they know Cape Town. But we have 3 capital cities. It's Cape Town, it's Pretoria, and it's Bloemfontein. And each capital city has its own function.
Oh,
we have Cape Town being where our parliament is. So it means Cape Town is our legislative capital. And then we have Pretoria, which is our administrative capital. And also we have, lastly, Bloemfontein, which is our judicial capital. So each capital has different functions. Yeah, so that is, I don't know why. I can't say there is a reason for 3, but I think it all comes to the point of saying diversity, you understand, being diverse and being accommodative, you understand, not having one place where everything is happening, but having different places where a government holds positions and holds different functions.
Yeah, that's quite interesting because in Russia, we also have, we have one capital, is Moscow, but we also have a cultural capital that is St. Petersburg, which was a capital of the whole country for some periods. And that was really surprising to know that there are countries that have more than one capital city. Yeah. And speaking about languages, what languages do South African people speak? And I also know that there is a language called Afrikaans. Afrikaans, yeah.
Yeah. So in South Africa, officially, the official languages, you must understand when I say we are diverse. Even when it comes to languages, officially in the country, the official languages, we have 11.
Oh, wow.
11 official languages. But obviously, the most predominant languages is English, Afrikaans, Zulu. But my mother tongue is a language called Sotho. Sotho, yes. But officially in South Africa, we have 11 official languages.
So most of these languages comes from people who live in traditional way.
Yes, I definitely understand. So going back to the history of South Africa, before South Africa was even colonized, there were different traditions. Each tradition had its own language, you understand. And after colonization and everything, the country had to come together as one. And as I've said, that South Africa is a rainbow nation. They accommodate everyone, no matter from where you come from. So all South African languages had to be included to become official languages of our country.
And how many people keep living in traditional way nowadays?
Well, every time people think about traditional ways, they think it's still old ways, villages. Yeah. But actually, back in South Africa, traditions have modernized. You understand? We still have traditional leaders, meaning we still have kings and queens.
Oh, I see.
Yes. For example, where I come from, specifically, we have a queen currently who is ruling there. And the traditional leaders, they work in hand with the government. So tradition has modernized also. Also, when we go there is specific places where tradition is still taken very, very seriously. But in most, like in bigger cities and everywhere, it's still respected, but it has modernized. From clothing to food and everything, it has modernized.
By the way, speaking about food, what dishes from your country you like the most from South African cuisine, and what dishes from Russian cuisine you also like?
Back in South Africa, of course, I like, there is something we call pap. Yes, it's maize meal. It's maize meal. I think every South African, every African loves this one. It's the most popular, but also every tradition obviously has their own dishes. But I like pap. I like pap very much.
Even, yeah, I also heard about that it's quite popular.
It's quite popular, yeah. And coming to the Russian Federation, I've actually I remember in New Year, when we're celebrating New Year, there is this special salad that
Olivier.
our teacher, yes,
Yeah.
definitely. I love it very much. Yes, that's what I love.
That's quite surprising also, because I know that some people think that that's quite a weird dish, something
Really?
like that. Yeah.
Okay.
But of course, almost all the Russians love Olivier. Yeah, that's kind of traditional dish for New Year.
Dish, yeah.
Does your country have something that you can call a traditional art of South Africa?
Yes, definitely. And when we speak about traditional art, it also goes back to the traditions, because the roots of South Africa are its traditions. And if you go to the traditional places in South Africa, in each and every tradition, you will see a different art. I love the art from my tradition. Like I said, I am Sotho. I speak Sotho. I like my Sotho traditional art, and the way it's so popular. I think you would even you know the movie Wakanda, right? You know these things that they wear,
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
have
of
their
course.
heads. Yeah, that is my culture. It's my culture's art. That's the art that they do, and I really love it. Yeah.
And maybe there is also some kinds of jewelry. I know that even men are wearing them.
Yeah, jewelry also is very popular. Also, it depends on the tradition. For example, the Zulu. Majority of the people in South Africa, I think, are Zulu, and they make quite beautiful artifacts and jewelry as well. Yeah, I love it too. I love it too.
At the beginning of our podcast, you mentioned that a lot of South African people like to dance and like music. So I want to ask you, what music do you personally like, and what do you like from maybe Russian artists?
Okay, coming to South African music, we love our music. We make our own music. We have a specific genre that we've actually created, and it's called Amapiano.
Oh,
Amapiano. Amapiano now is becoming so popular, not only in South Africa, but across the African continent. And I think soon it will be across the entire world. So Amapiano is quite very famous in my country. I mean, currently the most famous song, Amapiano song, is Twala Bami. Yeah, Shwalabami. It's quite a good song. If you'll have time, you can try to listen.
of course, I really want to listen to.
As I've said that nowadays, every Amapiano song that is coming, it comes with a complimentary dance for it. You understand?
Yeah.
Artists now, when they are releasing songs, that songs not only comes as a song, but it comes with its specific dance.
That's
you
great,
understand?
yeah.
So that is why I love Amapiano. I would recommend everyone to try to listen to Amapiano music from South Africa.
I think after this podcast, I will find something from it.
Yeah, definitely. And coming to Russian music specifically, because I'm still studying I'm still in Patfak. I'm still studying the Russian language, and I think the only song that I've listened to and I quite just grasped a little bit. But it's not like songs from YouTube because I still have a hard time understanding the language. But this song, I was listening to it, I think, from YouTube, and it was said to probably be a famous song, but not for the youth or something like that. Kalinka, kalinka,
of course.
kalinka, maya, sakuda, ta 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 ta. So yeah, that's the song that I liked, that I love so far. But I hope I will start listening to more modern songs and really get used to
Kalinka
the
is I think it's quite popular among foreign people because also with the previous guests we discussed that, and they also named this song.
Named it.
Yeah,
Definitely. Everybody likes it, I think.
And speaking about literature, you told us that Africans love Russia. So do African students study something from Russian literature in school or in universities maybe, or just interested in Russian literature? And is there a book that you personally like?
Specifically in South Africa, I wouldn't say there is a specific literature that comes from the Russian Federation, but from primary school, already we have books, and I think all learners from South African schools already learn about the history and the relationship between South Africa and the Russian Federation. Because as I've said before, South Africa has been in a very difficult time. And in that difficult time, we know that Russia was there as an ally for us to actually reach our freedom and to become a democratic country. So that is what we learn about in school. Yeah.
What do you think are the differences between South African mentality and Russian mentality?
One thing that I've come to realize about Russian mentality, I know that Russians strongly love their country. They love their country so much. I've never seen people who love their country like Russians. Yeah, and not to say South Africans, we don't love our country, but I'm just saying that is the mentality that I've seen about Russia. And that is what I want. I wish for our people also to love our country as Russians love their country. The mentality of South Africa. South Africans are free people. They are free people. They are open people because our country has been through a lot, and we've learned that in life everybody is different, and we need to accept every person with ever differences that they have. So that's the mentality of South Africans. And I'd also recommend other people to have such mentality. Yeah.
Coming back to your studies there, what do you like in studying at MEPhI the most?
This is very interesting, but the most classes that I enjoy, because the classes that I have Russian classes, I have mathematics, I have physics, I have informatics. And currently, I want to say this, I enjoy Russian language classes.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Because I'm learning a lot, and not only the language, but also about Russia at large. So me spending time in class is quite a lot. I get a lot just from the Russian class, you understand? So for me, the class that I enjoy most is the Russian class. And like I said, I was surprised when I arrived here to understand how warm and how welcoming people. I mean, from the Russian cathedral, from the decan, to our Russian teachers. They are so loving, they are so understanding, and we've come to understand each other, and I honestly appreciate the work that they've done so much. If I can tell you now, I know that I know a little bit chut-chut Russian there and there, you understand. And I'm happy. I love Russian, Ruski язык.
Is there a word in Russian that you like the most for now?
The word that I mostly like
From Russian language.
in the Russian language, I need to think about that.
Okay.
Well, in most cases, I always say to people udachi. I love saying udachi. Udachi.
That's a great word.
Yeah. So that's the word I love currently. I hope there is more words that I will love in the future. But currently, that's the only word I can think about. That's the word I love in the Russian language. Udachi. Yes.
So speaking about you and your life, I want to ask you, how do you see your future? And is there a dream that you want to come true?
Definitely. Like I've explained before, when I decided to come to the Russian Federation, I started with a research. I identified a problem that exists in my country, and me coming here is part of the solution to solving that problem, the energy crisis that we are currently having. That is why I said I'm here to study thermodynamics and nuclear physics. So I plan to complete my bachelor's degree here in MEPhI, and also after that, I also plan to study my master's here in MEPhI also. And I hope that all the things that I've learned here in Russia, because we know Russia is the best when it comes to physics and nuclear, basically. So I hope the skills that I will acquire here in the Russian Federation, I'll be able to take back to South Africa, work together with the people in South Africa to bring about positive change to the current problem that we are experiencing, because that problem is affecting a lot of lives. And I fear that if it continues, South Africa will not be the same again. So this is my way of taking a stand as a young person to say, I want a good future for my country. And it all begins with me studying in the Russian Federation.
That's really great to hear. I wish you all the best there from all my heart, really.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the wishes.
And now we have a Blitz question that I also ask every student who comes there. So you can answer with one word or with a short sentence. And describe Russia in one word.
I think if I were to use one word to describe the Russian Federation, the Russian Federation is tremendous. It's nothing you can imagine if you are not living in the Russian Federation until you actually come to the Russian Federation to see it. Russia is big. Everything, as I see it, it's working well for the Russian people. And I really wish that this kind of situation, this kind of development continues. So that one word, Russia is tremendous.
Great. Studying in MEPhI for you is?
Superb. It's superb. I love every part of it, from going to school, back to going to the общежитие. I love my commandant so much. We have a good relationship. I have a good relationship with my teachers. So really, studying in MEPhI, superb.
Name 3 main qualities of character of Russian person.
Russian people are strong, they are motivated, and they are kind.
Thank you a lot for coming. That was so nice to see you there and to listen to about South Africa. And this is a podcast, Friendship Without Any Limits, so stay tuned.